we have a short and incredibly important interlude from someone that I had the real pleasure of meeting earlier this year at a Stonewall event. And I've been sat next to them all afternoon. Please welcome to the stage Valentino Vecchietti, the founder of Intersex Equality Rights UK. I'll grab that one.
This one? Does this work? Hi everyone. Some of you might have seen my intersex inclusive pride flag that I created in 2021 on Regent Street this year. I collaborated with Regent Street. It was amazing when they contacted me to ask if they could print 100 flags for Regent Street to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Pride. But what's really important for me today is to look at next year and the year after and the year after that, and to see how can I, as an intersex equality campaigner who largely works in culture, help all of you to create campaigns for Pride 2023 and onwards that are really intersex inclusive. I work in casting, I work in consultation, all of my work is about creating visual, cultural representation, inclusion, and doing it well, and doing it accurately, and doing it with the right language. And so you can imagine how really happy I am right now to be in a room with all of you and to hear these fantastic panels and to have been invited here today. But why does it matter? Why does it matter to have intersex inclusion? And why does it matter to have a visible I? Why do we need to have LGBTIQA+? And why do we need to change that language? So the intersex population is about 2% of the population. So in the UK, we're looking at about 1.2 to 1.3 million people. And globally, we're looking at about 132 or 133 million people. And if you think it really matters, and it does really matter, to have a visible T and keep the T visible, you can see that we're almost double the population, but we're very hidden by stigma because it's much less well known to include I. A lot of people don't even know what intersex is. And so I'm going to give you a really quick understanding in just a few minutes of what intersex is. No, I have not got any more slides. I was only given one. So keep it on the slide it's on. Because then I can talk about the flag. Okay, so everyone in this room has sex characteristics. You're all born with sex characteristics. It's your internal and external sex organs. There is natural diversity in your sex characteristics anyway. Everybody's genitals look a little bit different, don't they? And we all have slightly different puberties. However, when you're born with an intersex variation, as I was, there is much more diversity, and that's all it is. We just have very diverse sex characteristics, and there's a lot of us that have very different combinations of that. So there's over 40 different combinations. So you're talking about a broad population that is in no way homogenous, but what ties us together is the vast diversity in our sex characteristics. That is what it is. And if you look at the flag, why did I want to create inclusion on the flag? And we've talked about it here actually in panels about lockdown, about being silenced, about not having visibility, and about why we need to see representation. And it came about in 2021 at the end of May. We'd just been excluded from the 2021 census. It had come out, and although we'd talked about it, I'd engaged with the Office for National Statistics for a couple of years. In the end, they chose not to include sex characteristics. Although we were celebrating along with trans people that gender identity was included, sex characteristics wasn't. We're also not included in the 2010 Equality Act. So we aren't protected by hate crime. So interphobia, we have no protections for that. We have no legislation. And although Stonewall do a fantastic job for LGBT people, they don't include intersex people. So I needed to do something really bold back in 2021 to give us visibility, to give us a voice globally. And so I did, I added the intersex flag to the pride flag. And so if you think about the rainbow largely representing orientations and natural diversity in sexual orientation, the black and brown stripes, which Amber Hikes brought to us in 2017 to create intersectionality so that we felt seen and represented those of us who are people of colour. Also, Monica Helm's trans flag. So that's natural diversity in gender identity. And so bringing in the intersex flag makes visibility of natural diversity in sex characteristics. But what you have is a framework, a human rights framework now, where most of you have heard of SOGI, natural diversity in sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. All I'm doing is adding sex characteristics to make it a really inclusive human rights framework in our flag and in what the Equality Act is failing us to do. But what we can all do globally is we can all work together to create real representation for all of us who have diversity in these areas. And I think because we really are oppressed by the same prejudice in society, all of us who have natural diversity experience oppression, experience erasure, and experience marginalization. Being able to feel visible. We've heard, I was thinking about all the different things I could say today, but everybody on the panels has said it so eloquently. We need to be seen, and you all need to help us be seen because it matters, and we know that it works. It works for all of us. So I don't need to persuade you of that, but what I do need to let you know is that I'm here. I'm already doing that work. I created in casting. I know I worked on the video that, I've forgotten your name, sorry, David showed. I worked on that video to make sure that there was intersex representation, intersex people were in that, and I also consulted to make sure that the poem had intersex inclusion on. So I'm already doing that work, but I'm often brought in very late in the day because people don't know that I'm around. But here I am, and we've got plenty of time to really make Pride 2023 reflect intersex inclusion. Do I have 1 minute 49 left? I'm rushing. I think what the one thing I'd love you, like a lot of things I'd like you to take away, most of all my email address from this meeting, but I just wanted to take away with how much does it matter to us? How many, when we're born with variations in our sex characteristics, one of the huge oppressions globally that happens to the intersex population, if you think about conversion therapy, which, we're not even on, there's no even, our intersex isn't even included in any level about thinking about banning conversion therapy, because if we have visible diversity in our sex characteristics in this country and globally, medical interventions, non-consensual medical interventions happen to us where our parents are persuaded that they need to consent to surgeries to make us look less diverse. And we know that there's nothing new about that. We know that Alan Turing was chemically castrated because his sexual orientation was too diverse. It's nothing new that's happening to people in my community. Historically, it's always happened to those of us who have natural diversity. People who don't have it want to stop it. But so when I did this, I wondered, we've got so much shame and stigma in our community, and I really wondered what's going to happen. I didn't know it would go viral. I didn't know globally everybody would be so excited about it. I didn't know our communities would be so excited about it, and I didn't know allies all around the world would. It was really remarkable. Families with intersex children sent me photographs of their kids with the flag. When Regent Street did this, they also put massive vinyls up on the street with the flag and with the kind of iterations and how the flag had developed over time. And intersex people came from all over the world to be photographed with that vinyl and sent me pictures. We need it so much. And the other thing allies have said to me in the LGBT community, but also just everyone around the world has contacted me and said, we wanted to include you, we wanted to be with you, but we didn't have a symbol. And it's that, creating this cultural symbol of inclusion and now, doing that has been one of the most important pieces of activism in my life, and it's become part of history. But what I want us to take forward now is, let's make that I visible, LGBTIQA+. Let's do what the whole globe was together with us and wanted us to do, and let's reflect that here. So yeah, I'm not going to speak any longer because I feel like I've taken up too much time already, but I'd be delighted to talk with you all afterwards, and thank you so much for having me.